welcome back to Non-Professional Dating Advice, episode 6. Well, here's truly Kyle Brenchley. As you can tell, I have a very special guest joining me today, Mr. Brett Hammer. You know, time for the applause, right? Cheer. Woo! Brett Hammer. I always find it a little strange calling you Brett because I always knew you as Elder Hammer or like other mission buddies would always just call you Hammer. And so, so when I'm saying
you could call me Hammer, bro. Whatever works.
Hammer, all right. We'll go with Hammer. Mr. Hammer. How about that? Well, we're so glad that you are joining us because you have a drive and enthusiasm for dating and for love, unlike anybody else that I know, man. I feel like you just
really.
I feel like you just know things. I feel like you're the kind of guy that would just know. You know what I mean? I feel like you're just very knowledgeable on this subject. And maybe it's because I listen to your sports podcast and you just seem like you know everything in that realm. And so maybe I'm just assuming you're a Renaissance man and you know your basis and everything. So I guess we'll find out today.
Yeah, Trophy Room Radio, shameless plug.
Yeah, there you go. Check it out. Trophy Room Radio. You're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Spotify, Apple, Google. I don't know. Like, people listen to us in Germany. I don't know how they find us, but they do. So everywhere you can find your podcast, I'm pretty sure we're there.
Dang. Well, there you go. Brett Hammer, Trophy Room Radio. Go check him out. But today, as much
Kyle,
as
you'll have to come on Trophy Room Radio at some point.
I should. Yeah. Bring me on.
You should. We're gonna get that in the works.
Okay. Well, we'll have a collab on that side too. We'll show the audiences that both of us can talk about both sports and dating at the same time. So.
Dude, the crossover event of the year.
Dude, heck yes. It's gonna be lit. But anyways, we got some good stuff to talk about today. Before we get into that though, Brett, I want you to introduce yourself, Mr. Hammer. Tell us who Brett really is.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, who are any of us really?
Whoa.
Let's see. So I've lived pretty much all over the entire United States. Minnesota, Idaho, Utah, Georgia, Pennsylvania, multiple places in Virginia, DC, and then obviously we both lived in Canada for a little bit. My entire life is based around chasing the dream of being a sports broadcaster. So play-by-play, obviously I do a podcast, I'm going to do radio, I'm going to do TV, I'm going to do all of these things. It's not a question if or when. It's like, it is a question of when, because I am going to do it. And that literally consumes all of my time. I'm always either reading a book, I'm creating content, I'm watching sports, but like I love it to the point where I just I don't even want to sleep. I just want to do it. But all that being said, I do enjoy dating. It's been a little bit weird because I was gone. I didn't go on a date. Let's see. So my dad passed away in August. And then I moved home for 6 months. And I didn't go on a date for the entire 6 months that I was home because I was at Penn State University. And let's just say I like being the only person who takes my pants on and off, and we'll leave it right there. And so as a result, I haven't been on a whole lot of dates until I came back to Provo in January.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can probably sit here all day and contrast the dating scene at Penn State and the dating scene at Provo. But I think that would take a very long time because I feel like that's very, very different. I don't know. I mean, you're the only one that's experienced both. I've thus far avoided Provo with every ounce of whatever I got, But you hear the stories and obviously you live that. But would you say you've gotten back into the Provo dating scene now that you're back in the promised land?
If by Provo dating scene you mean that my first date back was with a girl with a fake spray tan, and I guess her hair used to be blonde, and I never knew because it used to be brown, it's blonde now, and I had no idea, and she was appalled that I pay for my own rent and that I don't have my parents pay it for me, then yes, I have absolutely re-entered the Provo dating scene. Savvy, you were a great time, but we're not going out again.
Wow, that's I mean, I don't like to stereotype or to put people in a box, but that's the box right there. That's Provo dating right there. Basic Provo chick, in the box, like that's what you're gonna get 9 times out of the 10, which is unfortunate. But hey, you gotta find the one out of the 10 that's not that typical. I mean, I don't know if typical's your move, then so be it. But I don't.
Dude, you like what you like. Whatever you like, you just roll with it.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
own it.
So, yeah, whatever your fancy is, right? Whatever your flavor of cupcake, as my roommate says. I don't know why he says that, but I find it a good analogy. But anyway, so we're gonna have a little discussion here. We're gonna talk and just have open conversation. But before we do that, I feel like it would be unjust if I don't mention that Valentine's Day was like 4 days ago. You know, like this is supposed to be my Valentine's Day episode. And so the older I've gotten, I've noticed that the things people do on Valentine's Day are a lot more unique and broad than I originally thought. I thought it was like you either went out and like did something really fancy or you stayed at home and did nothing. So I asked on my Instagram, I asked people what they did. And I got a lot of responses, and I can't share all of them, but I broke it down into categories. I want to share some unique things I found, some sad things I found, and then just my overall top 3 favorites. I will keep names anonymous, but one that I found very unique is that this person went on a date to Burger Supreme. Is that a place down in Provo or something?
Okay, so let me just give the quick 411 on Burger Supreme because I had the exact same thought process you did, except even worse because you drive down I can't remember what that street is when you get off the highway at University. Maybe it's called University. Anyway, you drive down and you pass the Walmart and you see this shack of a place on the left side of the street, and it looks like a Greek restaurant, and it's like got this weird acrylic writing and like columns for logos, and it's called Burger Supreme, and you walk in there and it is, the only word I can use to describe is sweaty. It's sweaty in there for sure. And you go in, and I am not gonna lie to you, as far as quality of fries, burger, and shakes go, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It exceeded my expectations for what I thought was going to be a sweatshop.
Huh. Interesting. But so this person takes their date to Burger Supreme on Valentine's Day. So I mean, we can only imagine what's going on in their mind. But then they said that the restaurant caught on fire while they were there. And I was like, what? Holy cow. It caught on fire? So, I mean, I guess that will be memorable. You know, I went on a date to Burger Supreme and the place caught on fire. This one was very unique. I'm not much of a video game guy, and I don't know if you are, Brett, but this one individual said they co-opt Borderlands 3 with their spouse.
I've never played Borderlands. Have you?
No, I haven't.
What does co-opted mean?
I would assume.
Oh, like they co-opt, like they played together?
Yeah, I assume that's what it means. Like they both got a controller and they like did a level. I don't know, but to each their own, I guess. And then this one was very unique. A group of people got together and they threw a big birthday party, even though it was no one's birthday.
Isn't that just a party then?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because, I don't know. I was just like, wouldn't that just be a Valentine's Day party? Like, you're just throwing a party, but it's no one's birthday. I got a lot of sad responses, actually, and that kind of made me sad, because I guess a lot of people don't like Valentine's Day.
I feel like it's a little bit of an overrated holiday. Just like a little bit.
I would agree. I think most people would agree that it's not stupid, but it's like, it's just like over the top, you know? It's like, why do we even have it? What's the point? Like, just another reminder that I'm here and not with you. Yada, yada. Anyways, one of my homies said he played basketball because, quote, Valentine's Day is a joke. Poor guy. I hope he got buckets, though. Let's see. Someone else said they just hung out with friends, but it should be different if I had a man. Valentine's Day is a joke. Another joke there. And then last but not least, he says, all I did was school, work, and there was not a lady in sight. Poor guy. Poor guy. But hey, let's end on a good note before we get to the juicy stuff. My favorite ones were one of my friends, she went to San Francisco with her significant other and spent the weekend there for Valentine's Day. Have you ever gotten the heart-shaped pizza from Papa Murphy's, Brett?
I have not.
It's nothing special. I mean, it's shaped like a heart, but it's just like I feel like that's just such like a solid tradition. Like get a heart-shaped pizza, like that's cool. And then the last one, I had a few people say they went candle making.
Candle making?
Yeah, candle making. I have never made candles before. I actually watched a video on how to make candles. It's an interesting process, but what spells out love more than let's make candles together?
I mean, I guess don't knock it till you try it, but like, candle making has to be one of the top 5 most boring activities on planet Earth. Like, that sounds like one of the things that you did for like youth group or mutual when you were in church. Like, that's where I would rank that activity.
Wow. So that's a hard pass for Brett moving forward. Don't expect.
I'll do any date if the girl is hot enough. Candle making though is definitely borderline.
Oh yikes! Wow. Even if she was a 10 out of 10.
Now if she's a 10, I'll go candle making with her.
Oh nice.
I'll lick dirt with her if she's a 10 out of 10. Like I don't even care.
Thanks guys for sharing your Instagram Valentine's Day stories. Whether you spent it at home alone or at a Burger Supreme where it caught fire, please.
Kyle, can I tell a juicy Valentine's Day story?
Yes.
Or are we done with Valentine's Day?
Oh no. Yeah, share it if it's juicy.
All right, I got it. This is a pretty juicy Valentine's Day story, so buckle up. This is a pretty good one. Okay, so when I was in high school, I had a fling with this girl. I think her name's Emily. For the life of me, I can't remember. Bless her heart, she was a great girl. Anyway.
Wait, hold on. You think her name was Emily? You don't even remember?
I mean, I was in high school. Do you remember all the girls that you thought were cute in high school?
Actually, yes. All
right, well, I went to multiple high schools, so that's my excuse.
Right,
Plus,
right.
I had 5 concussions in high school. I'll keep giving you excuses till I have to, but... okay, so this girl named Emily, not that important to the story. The only reason that she's relevant is because at the end of this story, I end up with her sister. Anyway, so yeah, little tease. So Emily and I had a fling. I was like 16, I think, at the time. I think we might have kissed. I don't remember. We went out a couple of times. Wasn't a big deal. Anyway, she had this older sister. And yeah, I'll keep her nameless just in case anyone I know is listening to this. Anyway, we'll just call her Katie. Is that fair? Okay. So I found out probably towards the end of high school that Katie had a fat crush on me. Like the entire time I had a fling with her sister, through high school while I had a girlfriend. And the thing was, I didn't know this, and she and I ended up becoming like best friends. And so she was one of my best friends. Like she was like my oldest sister. And I come to find out like after we graduate, and she's like 2-3 years older than me. So it was kind of weird, like when I was a sophomore or freshman and she was a senior. Anyway, so I moved away from this high school, moved to Pennsylvania, which is like 4 hours north of where I was living before, which is where Katie lived. And then February of 2020, I was getting ready to go on my mission in March. And she hadn't seen me in a while. And she sends me a text and she's like, hey, when am I going to see you before you leave? Because like we're still good friends, and I found out that she had been into me, but that was like a couple years ago before I went to college, so I didn't think it was a big deal. And I was like, and I was working, like trying to make a lot of money so that I could pay for my mission and pay for college and stuff. So she's like, well, how does, what does next week look like for you? And I was like, honestly, the only night I have free is Wednesday, so we could do Wednesday. And she goes, okay, sounds good. I didn't realize until Wednesday because, again, like, of the genitalia I have because I'm a man, like, I don't really know when Valentine's Day is. And I come to find out that this day that I had asked her out for was Valentine's Day.
Oh, my God.
with this girl who had like had a crush on me while I dated her sister while we were in high school when I moved away. Like, and I figured it was done. But I was like, oh, we're just friends hanging out because I wasn't like that into her. Like, she was attractive, but I wasn't into her. Anyway, to make a long story short, we go out on Valentine's Day. I didn't think it was a big deal. All of my friends told me that I was an idiot, and they're probably fair because, again, I'm a man. And so we go out on Valentine's Day and end up making out in the back of my car for a couple of hours, which was it was really spontaneous. I honestly I'm not gonna say shamed, but I'm very surprised that it happened. But yeah, so I made out with the sister of a girl I used to date who also was like a girl who was almost like my older sister for 3 years of high school. And then this is where things get the best. Are you ready for this, Kyle?
Ooh,
this is where things get
okay.
juicy.
Here we go.
2 days before, I didn't know this. So Rose ended up getting married probably like like October of that year. This was in February. She got married in October. Fun fact, and this is why I'm leaving her name out of this. She had just started dating, like dating officially, this guy who she's married to now, and we made out. Now, don't blast me in the comments in the DMs or my Twitter. I didn't know that any of this had happened, but I guess she took the opportunity because she was like, and this other thing, she drove 4 hours to see me and then drove home that night or maybe the next morning. I can't remember either way. But 2 days after she officially starting the day, the guy she ended up marrying, we made out.
Holy cow! Where do I even begin? Whoa. Okay, so let's break this down. Yeah, shall we? Let's go into the film room and oh man, I wish I could draw like the X's and O's and the routes that
Gotta get a whiteboard up in here. Invest in that.
Seriously, but holy cow. So this was like you said this was like pretty soon before you would leave for 2 years on your mission.
So I left in March.
And
this was in February of 2018.
So she was thinking like, man, like this is like my only shot. It's like now or never.
Well, the thing was like we hadn't even talked for like 3 or 4 months because I went off to BYU Idaho, and oh, this is the other thing. She was actually at BYU Idaho that winter semester before, and she got really mad at me for no good reason at all, and then decided not to talk to me for like the next 5 months until January, and then texted me and apologized, whatever. And so then I was like, well, I feel like I should see you before I leave. And so we were talking, and then she ended up saying like, yeah, like let's hang out, and then she drove up.
Holy cow. See, in my mind, driving 4 hours for anybody at all, like even if like you like actually like are into them or whatever, like 4 hours, that's like so far, so much of an investment. And like what was she expecting? Like because you were leaving, like she really wanted to see you that I mean no offense, but she really wanted to see you that bad? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what's going through this girl's head, my man?
So originally I would say I wouldn't drive 4 hours for a girl, but last year I was dating a girl who lived in Idaho, named Savannah, and Savannah, I would absolutely take you out again. So I'd love to make the 4 hour thing work. But anyway, so Katie, yeah. So first of all, that's a lot. Second of all, I had no intention of making out with her when she drove up. So when we literally went out and got a pizza, and I don't even think I really was thinking about the fact that it was Valentine's Day, but then I look back and I'm like, I'm such a moron. I asked a girl who had a crush on me for 3 years out on Valentine's Day. Like absolutely asinine. No excuse at all. But yeah, I didn't plan on making out with her at all when she was driving up, but we just like happened to be sitting in the car in a parking lot, and you know how it goes when you're 19 years old and the girl's cute and you're just like, well, I'm not going to kiss a girl for another 2 years, and you just have all these feelings build up, and I'm so shocked I even pulled the trigger, because that's like a scary thing to pull the trigger and kiss a girl, especially when you don't know how they're going to react. And Yeah, so she drove 4 hours for us to make out, and then for her to get married to another guy, like 9 months later.
Wow, that is. I don't know what to think about that. That is so.
Isn't that a juicy story,
It's
though?
so juicy because it's like there's just so much in there. Like you dated her sister first. She liked you this entire time. Nothing happens, and then like all the out of the blue, she's just like, "Hey, what's good?" You end up going on Valentine's Day. She drives 4 hours. You both get some action, and then she goes off and marries this other guy who she had already started dating when she made out with you on Valentine's Day. So my question is, what did she tell the guy? Like, obviously he was probably like, hey, let's do something on Valentine's Day. What was her excuse for not spending Valentine's Day with him?
Okay, so this is another reason that I have not disclosed the name. This is juicy. But, so he doesn't know that happened, according to her. And I know that he doesn't like me, but he doesn't like me, and he still doesn't know that this happened.
Well, hopefully he doesn't hear this podcast.
Dude, I don't want to look like a homewrecker. Like, this is just a good Valentine's Day story, and I absolutely have plausible deniability because I had no idea that they were dating.
Yeah, no. I think you were probably the most shocked for sure out of all parties involved. But wow, that's a story you just don't make up. That's a story that's just not.
I wish I could.
Yeah,
but
you know
yeah.
what I mean. It's one of those stories you're like, wow, I wish that didn't actually happen, but it did. And those are the kind of stories that need to be shared. You know, those are the kind.
That's why you do this podcast.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I'm not here to give advice. I'm here to let the people share their stories, man. Holy cow. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if this episode blows up just because that story had probably the hottest temperature out of any stories that have been shared on this podcast thus far.
It was definitely saucy for sure.
Holy cow. Well, I mean, let's see. This Valentine's Day, it sounds like from what you told me, you didn't have as juicy as an experience this time around. But tell us, what did you do this Valentine's Day? What was your mindset going into Valentine's 2022?
So I feel like we'll get into this later, so I won't get into my dating mentality right now. But I will tell you this. Last week I made the decision of a lifetime. I had these Jordan 1 neutral grays that I have worn a total of 3 times. And I was sitting there and I was like, so my thing is, and you probably saw this in your comments, like I said that for Valentine's Day, I drank Monster and played Madden. Like I played some sweaty 15-year-olds and I had the best time doing it. But yeah, so I sold these Jordans and my ex, I don't know if I should say that, but my ex got me a really good deal on the new Xbox One Series S. And so I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, let's take that deal. So she got me a really good deal, and I used the money that I got from selling those Jordans because I got like $200 from it. And yeah, bought the Xbox One, and it single-handedly saved my Valentine's Day.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I think your testimony right there just proves that you don't need somebody else to have a good time on Valentine's Day. You just need a controller and some monsters to drink.
Dude, all I'm saying is, whatever you do in life, just own it. Because life is going to suck. Things are going to go your way. They're going to not go your way. But, like, the way I see it is, if you're not going to be present, you're going to waste your time. Like, if you're wishing you were doing something else, either go do it or live with what you're doing right now. But either way, just shut up and enjoy the moment.
Holy cow, wise words. Have you ever considered writing a book, Brett?
Oh, yes. Oh, easily. I'm going to write multiple books. That's been on, I mean, I don't know when, but I got so many things I can write books about. So yeah, that's on the docket. I'm going to write books for sure. In fact, like I've wanted to do a dating thing for a podcast for a while. So I'm just grateful to be here with you and get to share some of my gifted wisdom or lack thereof.
Holy cow, man. Well, for all the listeners and viewers, you can see how enthusiastic Brett is on this subject. Like he's very invested in this and very passionate about it. So Brett, at this time, I want you to explain why you have such a zest for this topic. Like I meet so many people who have varying degrees of interest, but it seems like you just have some uppity up about it, you know?
Uppity up. Let's see. So I feel like my dating history is typical and atypical in that I spent a lot of time like and again like I'll be real about it. Like I spent a lot of time going on dates, making out and then never talking again. And it was never like an intentional thing, but I'm starting to realize now that when you make out with a girl on the first date, you usually don't leave the best impression. And so I have since changed, and that was probably me beginning of last year. And then I realized that I don't really want to do that anymore. Like making out with girls and then not talking to them, like it doesn't do that much for you unless you're kissing a girl that you're really into. But the reason I'm so fired up about this is because I mean, I think I just am a passionate person like 100% of the time. Like I am 100 and I'm a little bit extra and there's nothing wrong with that because I own who I am. But I feel like there's such a unnecessary disconnect when it comes to dating. There's so many games and I'm so anti-game. Like I just like it to work out. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to get married, but I also want men and women alike to be supported and supplied in knowing how to beat the game. And so that's why I'm like, I just got to make sure that everybody knows and everybody feels supported in the way that they're going about it if they're doing it the right way.
Mm. Very interesting take on that because in earlier episodes, I have talked about the idea of this dating game, right? And so many people are like, how do I play? How do I win this game? Like, like it's like one of those things where it's just like it's so hard to answer, but at the same time, it's like, why are we all playing this game? Like, why can't we just, like you said, have both parties be happy about it and figure it out? Why, why do we play games, man? I really just don't know. I mean, I do know, but I want to hear what you think.
Let me start right here. Social media, Tinder, Hinge, Mutual have ruined dating. And I say that for a couple of reasons. So I study, I'm a communications major, and so right now I'm in a media studies class, and we're talking about media cultivation theory and how media cultivates our perception, how it makes us see certain things. And one of the things that I brought up in this class is that social media, and we all know this, right? We know that social media develops a perception where we only see the best things about everyone, right? We see the all Madden version of everybody. Everybody looks like they could just go out and be a 99 overall. But in reality, there's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of stats that you a 65 overall in. And so the issue becomes these men and women will only date someone who they see as passing the 99 overall. And one of the things that I'm coming to learn is that, first of all, this is just a rule of life. Are you ready for this? I'm about to blow your world.
Okay.
And this is not discriminatory. But if a girl has a Visco in her bio on Instagram, 9 times out of 10, you don't want to date her. Like, I'm already telling you that right now. I'm sure she's a great girl. She's not for you. So Visco is a red flag. And I can't even remember where I was going with that. But what I'm saying is people, it's raised our standards to unreasonably high levels where I'm like, oh, if she doesn't look like a 10, then I don't want to date her. Like, I think we used to be, I don't even think it's settling, but I think we now strive for perfection in a very unrighteous and unnecessary and needless way. And so we see a lot of people who, like 5 years ago, if everyone didn't have to doctor up their entire lives, I'd be like, you know what, she's a really cool girl and she's really cute. But now we're like, oh, well, she doesn't have a Visco. Oh, she doesn't have bikini pics on her Instagram. Oh, she doesn't have a six pack. Or, oh, he doesn't have a six pack. So therefore, I'm not going to date him. And so I think one of the many reasons that this is a game is because some people have too unreasonably high expectations. And usually the people who fall into that range of superficial attractiveness have so many other red flags that you miss a lot of personality that you might get in a girl who doesn't look like she just walked out of Queen Creek, Arizona or Highland, Utah.
Oh, that's. I'm laughing because it's so true. I mean, those two areas. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Visco's for the hoes. Put that on a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be dropping the merch. Link down in the bio. Please, please, please buy. Please support the merch.
Money will go to donated to help young girls realize that Visco will make them a hoe. So it's all charity, all love.
Charity.
Go free and donate. Go fund me.
Good cause. Well, Brett, you brought up a lot of interesting points. I think something that really plagues the dating world is the idea of unrealistic expectations, right? And we can have a whole segment about expectations. I mean, I've talked about it before, and I'll probably talk about it again. But what would your advice be? Like, how do we not go into dating with those unrealistic expectations?
Oh, that's tough. Because again, I feel like it's so when I was first at college, like my freshman year back in 2017, 18, I had no problem just walking up to random girls and just asking them out. And the thing I've realized is that doesn't really work. Like, no matter how big your balls are, unless you look like Matthew McConaughey or Brad Pitt, the things you see in those movies don't work. It's the Brad Pitt theory where two guys can do the exact same thing. If the girl's attracted to him, it works. If she's not attracted to him, she's calling the police. So I think you have that issue where it's hard to cultivate comfortability out of nothing. But also on the other hand, if you don't look like a 10 on social media, then you can't slide in or get on a date on the apps anyway. The only, and I'm trying to figure this out too because I haven't been on that many dates since I've been back. So I live at the place where I live right now. There's like a lot of hot girls in our ward. There's a lot of BYU cheerleaders in our ward, and I don't even know how the conversation would go if I asked them out. But I know I don't want to ask them out because I know that I don't like the superficiality of those girls. Like, no matter how attractive they are, I'm at a point where I'm like, hey, well, I want to date someone who's going to be an equal with me, and I'm not going to have to tell her how to think. That's probably really misogynist. I'll take that back. But you know you get what I'm saying. Like, I want someone who's equal. I don't want someone who just wants to do things because I want to do them. And so I think the key really is, like, I think meeting girls at parties works. Meeting girls at church, like, you can't ask the girl out right off the bat. You can't ask her out the first time you see her. You can't ask her out the first day of class. Like, you really do have to develop a level of comfortability and banter before you just go right and ask them out. And the other thing that comes with that is when you ask them for their number, or every girl, I don't know why they do this, but when a guy talks to a girl and you nod your head if I'm right, but like every girl, as soon as you talk to them, they think you're hitting on them, right? So, the thing is when you try to cultivate that tiny, and I'm not saying like talk to them for 3 months. I'm just saying don't ask them out the first day. And when you don't ask them out the first day or the second day, then they're like, wait, I'm assuming, like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for the wall to hit, and I'm bracing for impact, and he hasn't asked me out yet. So what's the deal? And then, and again, I'm not a proponent of playing the game, at least not intentionally or maniacally. but you almost take back a little bit of the power. And I feel, and it shouldn't be a power struggle, but I feel like sometimes it is, because women just get to sit there and we have to go cultivate everything. And so I think the secret, I don't know if the secret, and I don't know how to play the game, but like you do have to have a level of patience in order for them to not feel like you're a simp.
You know, that was brilliant. You were absolutely onto something there. And the reason I say that is because I recently have taken that exact approach that you just described, right?
But you didn't learn it the first time, right? Like it took you a while to
Yeah.
learn that.
Yeah, the reason I took that approach was because I would look back and be like, this has not worked in the past. So I need to try something new. It's like that quote, if you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, like that's the definition of insanity, right? Same
Yep.
thing applies in dating. Like if for some reason you aren't getting dates and you're trying, you gotta switch up your approach. And so I actually did that recently, and it works so much better than just going straight for the kill, you know, because you gotta be patient, and it's almost like in a way you could consider that playing the game, like waiting and and making sure you're comfortable and not going straight for the kill. But at the same time, I think it just makes sense from both sides, because if we were in the girl's position, yeah, I'd feel kind of strange if a guy who I do not know at all just comes up to me and says, "Hey, like you're great, like let's go out." Like I would feel, I don't know, I wouldn't feel super great about that. I'd feel a lot more comfortable with somebody who I've met at church or in my class, and then I've talked to, and maybe I've hung out like in groups a couple times. It's all about level of comfortability. I feel like, like if they're not comfortable, you're never gonna get it right. And so it does take patience, and it pays off. It pays off, you know.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it pays off, but people do say that.
Well. This is your invitation then to try it. This is perfect time right here, not just Brett, but for all the listeners and viewers. Perfect time to try. Try the slow approach. Patience. It works.
Dude, it's like you can't run a go route every snap. Because if you
Exactly.
do, then they just drop back, play cover three, and you never get anywhere because they'll just eat you. And as soon as a girl feels like she's eating and she owns you, she's no longer interested. Like you gotta switch it up. You gotta give the double move. You gotta give the slant. You gotta get the out, the hitch. Like you have to mix it up because like unless you're Tyreek Hill, unless you're Brad Pitt, just straight up brute force, you're never gonna beat her over top. You gotta make her come down and play you.
Wise words there, Coach Madden. Wise
That's
words.
right. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yes, rest in peace, John Madden. Good guy. But yeah, I don't know. It's something I've preached on this podcast is that dating is so relative and so individual that there's really not one antidote or one right answer,
No.
right? So you have to try all these different things if you want. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't want to date, you don't have to. Like,
No.
but I assume people listening to this are people who want to know, and so you gotta switch it up. You gotta keep things interesting. And at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, then you gotta switch up your strategy no matter whether it's working or not. So just a lot of things to consider, and as long as we just keep the ongoing discussion and conversation on how we can be better, or new approaches, or whatever it is, right? It's just so fascinating to try to figure things out.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, shoot.
Because I have a couple of theories, and maybe I'm just prideful, but I just like I wanna test the world on these.
All right, let's hear it.
So here's my first thing, and this is something I also feel like I've learned. I feel like if I ask you out and you cancel, you are responsible for rescheduling with me and not the other way around. So like this girl, I had a date tonight actually, Carly, super sweet girl. She's in my, I think she's in a class I have. Anyway, so we were supposed to go out tonight, and she canceled on me last night. She texted me and said, "Hey, can we reschedule?" And I said, "Yeah, for sure." I didn't reschedule. I'm letting her take that opportunity because to me, I'm like, I already asked you out. I already told you that I was interested. If you still would like to go out after you canceled, it is you are accountable and responsible to reschedule with me, and I will absolutely still do it.
Yeah. So I was actually I've had multiple conversations about this. So in the situation here where they had have to cancel, or let's say they're not able to say go out on a certain night or certain time. Um, Obviously, if they are interested in actually going out, I believe that it should be the person who had to cancel should be their responsibility to say, okay, well, I'm not available tonight, or I can't tonight, but how about Saturday at 7, or how about next week at this time, because that just shows that they want to go out, but it also is it's I think it's the respectful thing to do, because the other person went out of their way to try to plan something and you couldn't, and so to kind of repay that, you take the initiative. I agree with you on that one. I think that's the way it should be, but I think a lot of the times, especially when the girl cancels, there's still that notion that the guy should plan things, and I think that's just a learned behavior that is
Mm-hmm.
pretty prevalent and probably won't be unlearned at any time. But that's just the way a lot of people think. So
I feel like the hard part is because guys have to do the asking out, a lot of nice guys get like almost dragged around on a leash a little bit, where it's like the girl cancels, so then the guy attempts to reschedule.
mm-hmm.
And it's like as soon as you do that, you almost give her a little bit of a notion that she can do whatever she wants and you'll still try and fix it. And it's not always that way. Like some girls really genuinely do, and like they won't even notice that, and they'll be like, yeah, like we can absolutely go out again, you reschedule, it's great, you get married. But then there's some girls who the Visco girls, as soon as you let them know that you'll bend over backwards for them when it's unnecessary and you don't owe them that, they will take advantage of that, or they'll just realize I have control over him, therefore I'm not that attracted to him anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you just go with what your approach, or you just go with what you think is right. And if the girl doesn't, or if the guy doesn't, you know, reciprocate, then it's just like, well, I'm not gonna cross this boundary, and I guess you're not either. So moving on. You know what I mean? So
Okay, so I have another question for you.
okay, let's go.
This is my last one. And this is another theory I have, and I'm sure I'll think of more over the months and come to you with them. But I don't think there should be any rules. Because I hate that people feel like they have to do certain thing or they have to do something else. But I also feel like there's a difference between rules and indicators. So, like, I think it should be if I ask you out, again, I have gone through the vulnerability of telling me, hey, I'm interested in you. If the date goes well, you are responsible for texting me to either say, hey, I had a good time, and hey, we should do something again. Like, I don't think the guy, because then the guy's always going to be wondering, well, I don't know if she's going to, I don't want to go too hard, I don't want to push too far. Like, I think whoever asks out on the date, the other person should be the one who reciprocates at the end of the night to say, hey, I had a really good time, let's do this again. And like, it's fine if the guy is the one who asks the date again, but I don't think it's fair for one side to do all the heavy lifting when they have already initiated contact and told you they were into you by asking you out in the first place.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in equal effort and reciprocated effort, right? And if I don't feel that early on or throughout the relationship or out the process, it kind of makes me wary, you know. And so I think that would really go along with what I personally believe, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. Like they want a reciprocation, they want an equal effort, and so I think that's a very realistic want or realistic expectation that you have, that you expect them to do that because they need to pull their weight per se, like they need to help with the burden, so I think it's definitely a respectable thing to do. And I do think a lot of people tend to do that. I feel like I've had experience where I ask a girl on a date and then she is the one that says, "Oh, I had a really good time." But in other instances, I also, don't know if they will. And so that's when I feel like obligated to say that still, because I'm like, A, maybe they are expecting me to say it still, or like they don't want to come out and say it first because they're the girl. It just really depends, but you make a very good point, I think.
Well, I think you make a very good point when you talk about equal, because I don't think a relationship should ever be you have to pull this much weight and I have to pull this much weight. Because a relationship is not a have to, it's a want to.
Mm.
And I think it's a point that you and I have unofficially alluded to multiple times in the past 30 minutes. But if a girl doesn't want to pull the weight, she's probably not into you. And no matter how much she thinks she is, you never want to be in a relationship with someone who isn't into you, even if they think they are. And someone who's into you is going to be willing, they're going to want to pull their weight. They're going to want to see you again. Now, granted, that's not they want to see you again tomorrow, because if they want to see you every single day after that, then they might be a little codependent. I don't know. But you want to be in a relationship with someone who wants to be in a relationship with you. And if she wants to, then she'll probably end up doing a lot of these things and not making you do them.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess just kind of to close here, it's so interesting how many times I get people asking me like, how do I know that he slash she is into me? And it's just gonna be so evident in the amount of effort she or he puts in either A, trying to see you or trying to reach out to you. Like it's just gonna be so evident in how they act and their actions. Like they can say whatever they want. They could, you know, you know, do whatever they want over social media and text you as much as they want. But like if they really want to make an effort, they will, and you will know, and you won't be in doubt. No matter how much of a doubter you are, you're gonna know because the effort is gonna show for it. And so at the end of the day, is she into me? Is he into me? You're gonna know by the amount of effort, and you're gonna feel that effort. You're gonna see that effort, and it's just gonna be very evident.
Yeah, it kind of sucks when people say, if you know, you know. Like, it's hard to hear that because they're like, oh, it's supposed to be really easy. And it's like, yeah, well, easy for you to say it worked out for you.
Hmm.
Um, but it is the unfortunate truth. Like, when someone's into you, you're going to know. And if you don't know, 9 times out of 10, it's because they're not into you. And to me, I'd rather rip that band aid off sooner rather than later.
Hmm. Any last thoughts, Brett, before we say goodnight to our wonderful listeners and viewers?
Whatever you do, just own it. Just like, I don't know. Everybody should just love themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should just love you. And if you love you, then you're going to realize, okay, maybe she wasn't the girl for me. This, that, or the other. But, like, it's not a race. It sucks and it's hard to be patient. But, like, at the end of the day, This is a philosophy I live my entire life by, every single aspect of my life. When I heard this quote, it changed my life. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And this is coming from someone who, like, I go to therapy for a lot of things. Like, I lost my dad last year. Like, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. There is a way, and I'm not perfect at it. I don't know what it is, but you should enjoy you and you should enjoy life. And there's always a way to continue to do that. And so, I don't know, dude. Like, just have a good time. Whatever you do, own it. Own you. Love you. Eventually, like, people want, a girl wants a guy who can love himself. And so if you can love yourself, that's all you got to figure out. And you should want someone who can be equal in that with you, not someone who's incredibly codependent or way too independent. You know what I'm saying?
Know what you're saying, and I hope everybody internalizes that. I hope all the listeners and viewers can take that away, because that's just solid gold right there. I mean, you gotta love yourself, and straight from the heart right there, as you heard, Brett. That was just straight from the heart, you know. So thank you so much, Mr. Brett Hammer. This has truly been a pleasure, and it's always a good time. Always a good time to hear the different aspects and the different stories and the different unique things that make us all unique. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to Non-Professional Dating Advice with Kyle Brenchley. We will see you guys later.